Hey guys, welcome back to Consider This. I am Jenny, very glad to have you with me today. I so appreciate you tuning in and your time. I hope that everybody's quarantine is going well and you're doing okay and you are staying safe and feeling safe and all of those things. Our quarantine has actually been going pretty well. Like many of you, I have children right now at the house that I'm trying to homeschool, and actually part of what happened with my son the other day is what I wanted to talk about today. I think everybody's probably feeling a lot of feelings, and while this is true all of the time, I think perhaps it's a little bit more obvious right now with all of us being stuck kind of in the house. So my son has autism, and his teacher has done a magnificent job at getting resources for him to access online. And every day when he's at school, he does a morning meeting. And they check in with each other, and they talk about the day of the week and what the weather's like and how many days left are in school and how they're all feeling, and have this like check-in meeting. And then after the meeting is over, they go through their day. My son's teacher has put together a PowerPoint presentation in Google that will allow him to go through the morning meeting with me. And he gets to choose. It's interactive. He can move stuff around and put down things about how he's feeling and what day of the week it is and all of that stuff and what he's wearing and what the weather's like, and it's very cool. And in the middle of this, she has broken up the meeting by way of topic, and at the end of every topic, the kids get to choose a video that they want to listen to, and it's usually a little song that has to do with whatever they're talking about. So for example, when they finish talking about the days of the week, at the end of that little section, when they're talking about the calendar, they get to choose a video, and the video has to do with the days of the week. The other day, my son was going through his day, and he was picking out how he felt today. How are you feeling today? And he chose his emotions, and he gets through that little section, and then he selected a song to play at the end of the section that, of course, had to do with feelings. And it was a fascinating song, and as I was listening to it, I was struck with some of the words that were happening at the very end. At the very end of the song, the video, the song lyric is, that's just, your feelings are what they are every day. That's just the way we have to play. And the context around it is how, one minute we can feel good and another minute we can feel bad, or I can feel happy and you might not be feeling okay, and all of that stuff, and how it's different and it changes and it's not constant. And I love how they put it at the end, that's just the way we have to play. You just have to learn to engage with it. However it is that you're feeling, you have to learn to engage. Our feelings change a lot, and I'm going to try to simplify some things a little bit because I don't want the video to be too terribly long, but for the most part, our experience in the brain is biochemical and electrical. So depending on what neurotransmitters are floating around at any particular time is kind of indication of how we feel. Our thoughts influence that a lot, and they are habituated. So the more that you are used to feeling in a particular way, the more often you will feel that way. It kind of becomes a default. And I don't know how you're doing, but I'm sure everybody's feelings are fluctuating quite a lot right now. I know in the last week, this has been an intense week for me. I woke up one day and I had zero energy. I didn't want to do anything at all. I was super tired. I was mopey and just blah. And then a couple of days later, even though nothing had really changed in my experience, I woke up the same, I was doing all of the same things, but I felt way better. I had way more energy. I was excited to do some stuff. I was motivated to get pumped. I felt eager. There was an eagerness in my day that hadn't been there just a few days before. And I had done nothing to make that happen. It was just the natural cycle of my emotions playing out. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally normal, and it's very, very common. That's what everybody experiences. What I want to talk about, though, is how we can actually exercise control over that process. What happens is we feel like that, and we ride this roller coaster, and we think that we're the victim of that process. Like, we don't really have anything to contribute to it. So we just ride the wave. That's actually not true, though. We actually have quite a lot to contribute to that process, and if we have a certain amount of self-awareness and some good practices in place, we can actually take control of the process. Taking control of that process, I think, is really important, because then you have a sense of control in your life. And if there's anything that we have any control over, it's what's happening in our brain. Now, I don't want that to make you feel like you're not supposed to be influenced by the things that happen around you. Certainly that's not the case. But once something happens or occurs and you have a response to whatever it is that's happening to you, at that point, then you have a choice. You have a choice. And the question to ask yourself is, well, how do I want to feel? Not how am I feeling, not that. How do I want to be feeling? What do I want to experience here? And that's an important question to ask so that you can have a sense of control in your day-to-day. Now, not always do you want to feel happy. Not always do you want to feel good. Sometimes it's appropriate and healthy to have feelings of sadness or stress, any kind of stress. Not having stress isn't necessarily a good thing. But you also don't want to be overwhelmed with it and run by it. You should be able to choose the experience that you want to have. If you've lost a job and you want to be a little sad about that experience, you can and you should. How long are you going to sit there? And then what are you going to do to change it? And how are you going to shift yourself so that you don't stay there for too long? And then there are other times when something happens and it's not as nearly as intense as the loss of a loved one, getting caught off in traffic, right? Do you want to be angry about getting caught off in traffic? Like, is that how you want to spend your time and energy? And when you realize that you have the ability to make these emotional switches, glorious things happen in your life. Now, here's the trick. It's very simple. It's just not easy, because we've spent our entire lives feeling justified in how we feel, and your feelings are justifiable, but you own that process, not the other way around. Your brain isn't what's in control. Even if you have no spiritual ideology at all about anything, you do and can be aware of how you're thinking and how you're feeling at an objective level. And when you can do that and then ask yourself, is this how I want to feel? And then you take control of that, so you're actually in control of your body and you're actually in control of your mind, which then means you're then in control of your emotions. Now you're no longer victim to the circumstances happening in your life. Now you have control over what you want to experience with what's happening to you. And those phrases that we hear about cultivating your own joy, or you have to create your own happiness, or you bring happiness into your life, it doesn't come to you, all of that stuff, that's what this is about. This is about whatever it is that you're faced with. You have the ability to say, how do I want to feel? And then put yourself in a situation where you can start to feel that. Now, how can you do those things? I have a friend who does a lot of body-mind work, and she works a lot with like physical movement of the body and placement and touches and poses and breathing. All of those things are very purposeful in shifting the neurological stuff, the connections that are happening in your brain. If you smile, it is harder to feel sadness. So making those physical shifts, just moving your body differently, is the first step, right? If you're feeling sad or you're feeling angry and you don't want to feel that way, you breathe in a way that demonstrates relaxation so that your brain and your body go, I am safe, everything is okay, I can be at peace, I can be at rest. If you're sad and you're scared and you know that there's no good reason for you to, or you don't want to feel that way, put in some music and dance. Power walk around the block. It's about changing the movement of your body to reflect how you want to feel. And then you follow that with thinking the way that you want to feel. So it's thinking, feeling, behavior. That's how this works. And then you start acting in that way, and then you actually feel that way. It's a very structured process of moving from one to the other to the other. And it's so simple and terribly difficult at the same time. It is not easy. We want sometimes to feel angry. We want sometimes to not get up and dance. We want sometimes to just not have to worry about what's going on and to be mopey. And you totally have the right to do that. And you totally have the right to not, too, if that's what you want to do. And so my question to you would be to ask yourself if that is how you really want to feel. Is that really how you want to feel? If you do, awesome. Own it, live it up, do it out loud. If you don't, know that you have the ability, if you're willing to commit to wanting to have a different emotional experience, it is possible for you to start putting yourself in a position where you're on the other side of it. It takes practice. It takes commitment. It takes a willingness to feel like you're lying to yourself for a certain period of time. But it's possible. It's possible to do it if that's what you really want to do. So while my son's little song talked about how our emotions change and that's how we have to play, we do. Our emotions do change, and we do have to figure out how to play. But I would challenge everybody to start becoming the manager of their emotions. Become the director of your thought process, of your emotional process. Start telling yourself the things that feel better. Start asking yourself the question, how do I want to feel? Honestly, asking yourself how you want to feel. And then move your body and change your thoughts to help accommodate that. If you need some help doing that, find a coach. I'm a coach. Read some great literature. Listen to some fantastic music. There's all kinds of ways to do it. But if you want to do it, find a way to get it done. So that's my little piece for today. I loved that little video listening to him sing it. It was hilarious. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you found some value in this. You know, if you've got a good way of switching your emotional state at any particular time, please share it in the comments below. If you found some value in the video, like, subscribe, please share. And always remember, be on purpose. Bye-bye.